How is it going, everyone? Want to take you guys through some more Borderlands 4 updates. We have a bit of an update on the release timing of the game. If you guys are playing on PC, you might be a little bit excited to know that you'll actually be able to play a day in advance, or 12 hours in advance. I'll go over the global launch times again, but that is only for PC. We have an update on the PlayStation release as far as that is concerned. PlayStation and Xbox, obviously Nintendo Switch 2 release will be down the line. We'll go over that. I also want to give you guys some insight into a question that I saw was one of the top-rated comments on our last video about Borderlands 4, and that is the various editions of the game and whether or not the Super Deluxe Edition will get you all the content in the game. Gearbox hasn't come out and said anything, but if past this prologue and you look at how they handled Borderlands 3, which, by the way, has an edition that's literally called the Super Deluxe Edition, I think you can come to a conclusion. Also, by looking at the post-launch roadmap and just putting the pieces together, I'll give you guys some insight and some speculation on that. And we have details on the endgame and the replayability, the ultimate Vault Hunter mode. We won't go over everything about that, but we do have some details on that at the end of this video. So, before I get into this video, I do want to note that our friends at Green Man Gaming, a lot of you guys have been taking advantage of this. If you're looking to play a PC Steam copy of the game, or you can get an Epic Game Store copy if you want, you select Steam or Epic Game Store, you can get Borderlands 4 discounted using the code SEP15, that's SEP15. You'll save 15% off on the game. The standard edition would be sub $60, deluxe edition would be $85, super deluxe edition would be discounted as well. I think it would be $110 and some change. You won't pay tax either. You'll get a Steam key, redeems directly on Steam, and you'll be good to go. You'll get the pre-purchase bonus of the Gilded Glory Pack, which they've added some stuff to that. We went over that yesterday. But yeah, check out the link in the description box below. That's only for PC. Also, only for PC is a little bit of an early unlock. Yes, while the game is officially out on September the 12th, and you see the September the 12th date promoted over and over again, if you go on Steam, you might notice that the game is listed for September the 11th, which is this coming Thursday. Well, that is because on PC, the game will be unlocking September 11th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Time. So 12 hours in advance versus the console release. And yes, if you go on over to the PlayStation Store, the game will be unlocking midnight, September the 12th, so you'll have to stay up or you'll have to play it on Friday morning. I don't make the rules as far as these PC unlocks go, but this is becoming a little bit more common where for whatever reason the PC releases, and I'm pretty sure it's because of time conversions and whatnot, and they try for a global unlock. Bro, I don't know. I don't make the rules, but I've noticed that Bandai Namco games always unlocked at 6 p.m. Eastern Time the previous day comparatively to the console releases. I feel like this is the same thing where if you are on PC, if you got the day off on Thursday, if for whatever reason you're feeling a little under the weather, just know that Eastern Time, 12 p.m., the game will unlock at 9 a.m. Pacific Time, and you'll be good to go. Unfortunately, on consoles, you will have to wait until midnight. Them's the breaks, buddies. But yeah, PC players making out like a bandit. And remember, if you do pre-order the game, you will get the Gilded Glory Pack, which they have added some content to it, incentivizing pre-purchasing the game. And if you don't pre-purchase it, the Gilded Glory Pack will be available as a standalone purchase. What that price point would be, nobody knows yet. I would imagine $4.99, but we'll see on that. All right, moving on from that, I've seen this question asked, and it was one of the top-rated comments in our last video, so let me give you guys some insight on this, depending on what edition of the game you want to buy. You might think, you know, dropping $130 on a game would entitle you to all of the future paid content. Let me ask you guys something. Has Gearbox said that? Has one Randy Pitchford said that if you buy the Super Deluxe Edition, you are gonna get every piece of future content? Is that promoted anywhere in the Super Deluxe Edition? If it's not outright said to you, I would go into the assumption that you're not, buddy. Just accept it, and, you know, if you do end up getting all the content, that's a bonus. That's a bonus, but I would not be expecting that. Why is that? Okay, first of all, Borderlands 3 literally has an edition that's listed called the Super Deluxe Edition. It came with Season Pass 1. There was a second Season Pass that was ultimately released for the game, and more content came to the game, and they have the Ultimate Edition listed as well that you get Season Pass 2. And with Borderlands 4, you have the Deluxe Edition and the Super Deluxe Edition, and I would imagine that there's going to be more content well into the future. You also go into the roadmap, and guys, look at the roadmap and how it is worded. Post-launch roadmap, let's pull this up again. Okay, so Q1, you will get the free content and the Bounty Pack 1. That's tied to the Deluxe Edition. Then Q1 of 2026, that's, first 3 months of next year, you'll get Bounty Pack 2 and Story Pack 1. That is tied to the Super Deluxe Edition, and that includes the new Vault Hunter. The new Vault Hunters are both tied to the Super Deluxe Edition. There's 2 new Vault Hunters that'll be coming. They're both tied to the Super Deluxe Edition. That's why I think, if you do want the meaningful content, why only get the Deluxe Edition? You might as well get the Super Deluxe Edition, because I would say the super relevant content is tied to that when you're talking about new Vault Hunters. Beyond Q1 of 2026, one would assume this will be in the duration of 2026, maybe into the summer, Q3, around that range. You'll get Bounty Packs 3 and 4. Story Pack 2 will also be coming. That's the other Vault Hunter, so you'll get 1 Vault Hunter in Story Pack 1 in Q1 of 26. Then in later on, they don't define in 2026, but I don't think it's going to take longer than that to get Story Pack 2. Maybe it'll be early 27. So that's 2026. Guys, Borderlands 3 came out in 2019. This game has been in development for quite a while. They are going to monetize this game. Just generally speaking, knowing how game development works and monetizing your games and getting the most value out of it, I just go into that assumption. These games ain't cheap. Pitchford talked about how expensive this game was, and I imagine that they're gonna monetize it. Oh, and by the way, when Story Pack 2 comes out, whenever it does, and they wrap up all of this content, we'll be heading into 2027. Oh, what's happening in 2027, 2028? Oh, the next generation consoles are gonna come out. They're probably gonna do a re-release, a next-gen edition with all of the content in it, and I know I see a lot of you guys in the comment section being, I'm gonna wait the 2 to 3 years, I'm gonna hold out for all the content to be available at a cheaper price point. Well, chances are this will get a next generation upgrade. Chances are they'll do the Super Ultimate Mega Edition, and you'll get all of the content that way, or hopefully you'll get all of the content. Who knows? I don't know how long they're planning on monetizing the game, but if you're going into this expecting the Super Deluxe Edition to include all of the content, you're opening yourself up to ultimately be disappointed. That's all I'm saying. Now, again, they haven't said anything, but you should go into the assumption that the Super Deluxe Edition includes the content that's promoted, but there's gonna be more content. That's personally how I would approach it, and I saw a ton of people commenting whether or not all the content is going to be included. Again, it is $130. I know the idea of spending $130 on a game and then having more content come out down the line might upset some people, and I'm sure, that'll be a big talking point when that time comes. If it does come, again, we have no confirmation on this, but I would just go into the assumption that you'll get the content for 2026, and then beyond that, we'll see what happens. But that's my 2 cents on that. Again, a lot of that is speculation, so just bear that in mind. But again, yeah, you saw how they handled Borderlands 3. You see how game development works these days. I just wouldn't be going into it in a standpoint of expecting all of the content and then ultimately being disappointed a year down the line. With that being said, the game is going to give you a lot of reason to come back and play after you beat the game, and Borderlands 4's Endgame details, Ultimate Vault Hunter mode, and more. I'm not going to go over everything about this because there's a lot. They put out a lengthy post about it. For many Vault Hunters, finishing the campaign is just the start of the adventure, and with Borderlands 4's Endgame built around deep yet accessible systems, players of all skill levels will have more reasons to keep wreaking havoc on Kairos after the main story is complete. In the simplest terms, the goal of Borderlands 4's Endgame is to make the most badass Vault Hunter possible through a combination of the best loot and the most efficient skill builds. Making sure Borderlands 4's Endgame stays engaging long after you've rolled credits is a huge focus for the team, creating a highly replayable loot chase whether you're continually powering your main character up with new gear or rolling alts to try out other Vault Hunter classes. Today we're excited to give you an overview of the Borderlands 4's Endgame system. Borderlands is all about the loot chase, and to access the ultimate Vault Hunter mode, simply finish the campaign with your first character. As the name implies, enemies will be much tougher and deadlier in ultimate Vault Hunter mode, but the loot they drop will be appropriately powerful as a reward for your efforts. Playing in ultimate Vault Hunter mode intensifies the risk and reward of Borderlands 4's looter-shooter firefights. You should expect more demanding, chaotic battles against enemies that globally scale to your level. You'll have to deal with increased damage scaling, while your opponents get intimidating modifiers like higher damage, bigger health pools, or resistance to certain elemental effects. But should you triumph, you'll rake in big rewards, better loot that can supercharge your build, plus appropriately scaled up XP and increased in-game currency in the form of cash and iridium. When Borderlands 4 launches, Ultimate Vault Hunter mode will have 5 difficulty levels, which are unlocked incrementally by completing challenges spread across Kairos, and will put your skills and Vault Hunter builds to the test. Once you've completed enough challenges, you'll face a climactic trial, a wildcard mission, which they will be adding more of those, which tasks you with replaying a mission filled with buffed enemies who have a new set of lethal traits. Successfully surviving the absolute chaos of a wildcard mission will unlock the next difficult Ultimate Vault Hunter level, creating a satisfying cycle of increasing your power and taking on tough but fair adversaries. Ultimate Vault Hunter mode is also designed to be welcoming to players of all kinds, as you can escalate the increasing difficulty levels at your own pace and take on new challenges whenever you feel ready. It does feel like they're putting a lot of depth and emphasis to this component, and there's gonna be reasons to come back. There's gonna be weekly reasons to take on new challenges. After launch, Borderlands 4 will be getting plenty of paid content via post-launch DLC, and there will be free content. Again, we went over a lot of that. The post-launch roadmap article gives you a good idea of what to expect. In between the bigger drops, Borderlands 4 also offers weekly incentives to come back to Kairos for fresh challenges and rewards. They're going for that engagement, looking to give you a reason, always coming back and investing time into the game. If you're looking to pick a new fight each week, you should test your might against the weekly Big Encore boss. Everyone will get the chance to take on the same Big Encore boss each week, which is a tougher variant with an even more rewarding loot pool. You can face off against this souped up boss using Moxie's Big Encore machine. In the same vein of embracing new challenges, all players will get the weekly wildcard mission marked on their map, ensuring that everyone takes on the same set of additional enemy traits, so the community can collectively figure out the optimal ways to overcome this challenge. Best of all, weekly wildcard missions will have a guaranteed legendary drop that you can repeatedly earn to get your ideal role. Lastly, we're delighted to confirm that Maurice, everyone's favorite human studying Asarian, has managed to set up shop in Kairos in Borderlands 4. Each week, the black market machine will spawn in new locations somewhere on Kairos. If you manage to find it, you'll be able to purchase highly coveted legendary loot for in-game cash, and although its location will be the same for all players each week, the inventory offered is unique to each player. It's worth regularly coordinating with friends and joining their game if their version of the black market machine has the perfect legendary you've been looking for. So you'll get these randomized markets and what's available in them, but if you join a friend's game, you'll be able to take advantage of the offerings that they get as well. They are really incentivizing that community and cooperative play, which but that's been a staple to Borderlands, don't get me wrong, where you have now things like cross-platform play, where you do have individual difficulty sliders, which, you know, if you want to play the game on easy and your buddy wants to play on normal, you have the option to do that. Or you want to play on easy and they want to play on very hard, you can do that, and the game will be scaling accordingly, which I find rather interesting. I feel like this is going to be one of those cases where they do have the individual difficulty sliders, but when you group up with your buddies, everybody will probably just agree to the same difficulty. But nonetheless, options aplenty as far as tailoring the experience exactly how you want. And there's more information. I'll leave a link in the description box below, but the Ultimate Vault Hunter mode, at least right out the gate, is going to be the big reason to come back after you finish the main campaign, which surely will have a sizable amount of content as well. But that is going to do it for me. Again, wanted to give you guys some insight into the release timing. PC players will be able to play a little bit in advance, and speaking of PC players, link in the description box below to get the game a little bit cheaper. We did a long tangent on the Super Deluxe Edition, but I know there's going to be people that buy a $130 edition of the game, and they're going to expect, oh, I'm getting all the content, and maybe you will. I just think if you were going to get all the content, that's something they would make abundantly clear, and they haven't. And again, you saw Borderlands 3 get a second season pass They're not using the verbiage of season passes with these additions, but again, future content could come. I could see that being a reality, especially when you hear about how expensive this game was to develop. You know they want to monetize it, and look at the how much priority they're putting in giving you a reason to come back to the game. Weekly challenges. Ultimately, once all of the content from the Super Deluxe comes out, do you think those weekly challenges are just gonna stop? No, they want to give you reason to come back into the game, but they also, you know, want to monetize the game. This is a business at the end of the day, you guys. You know how it's played. I mean, you know how it's played. And the Ultimate Vault Hunter mode, at least right out the gate, will give you reason to continually coming back, weekly challenges and things of that sort. That's gonna do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. As always, sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.